and 22 deputy ministers. Police in Morogoro seized a fuel lorry with marijuana hidden in the fuel tank. And in sports, primary schools in Dar es Salaam commemorate the 59th independence of Tanganyika by participating in a handball competition. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Nasma Mwambe. Let's get started with the national news. As Tanzanians commemorate the 59th independence of Tanzania mainland, President Dr. John Magufuli has sworn in 21 ministers and 22 deputy ministers at Chamwino State House in Dodoma, whereby the appointed deputy minister of Minerals, Francis Kumbandulane, found himself unable to give his oath before the president, who said he will find someone else to replace him. Addressing the new ministers and deputy ministers, President Dr. John Magufuli directed them to perform their responsibilities by adhering to public leaders' ethics.
Naapa kwamba nitakuwa mwaminifu kwa Jamhuri ya Muungano ya Tanzania na kwamba
Dr. Mashaka Biteko naapa kwamba nitaitumikia vema na kwa moyo thabiti Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania.
Hii nafasi tutamteua mtu mwingine anayeweza kuapa vizuri. Ndio ukweli, sasa utafanyaje?
I think this position I will have to give it to someone else because you could not take an oath properly. This is the truth. What are we to do? I know the Prime Minister is looking at me because in Lindi it is him and the Prime Minister. So we will look for someone else who will be able to take the oath properly, who will be able to read well, whom, once we take him to the mineral sector, he will be able to read documents well, to check if they have been forged. So we commend you. You will continue to be a member of parliament. Let us get a replacement.
Kuna mambo mengi yameangaliwa, mengi.
To get this selection, a lot was taken into consideration, including education, qualification, performance from previous roles you came from, but also your performance in political issues. The fifth phase government and Honorable President is a government of performance, one that speaks and acts. So our job as ministers is to go and work.
Serikali ya kusema na kutenda.
At the occasion, President Dr. John Magufuli also directed the Minister of State, President's Office, Regional Administration and Local Government to suspend the Director of Geita District Council for misuse of public funds and ordered an investigation to be conducted on the director.
Unamkuta mkurugenzi ananunua gari la milioni 400 na kitu.
You find a director buys a car for 400+ million, money that we've struggled to get, money for CSR. Children are asked for contributions. You find that there are no enough desks. I want your first job to go and suspend the director. You find a director buys a car for 400+ million, money that we've struggled to get, money for CSR. Children are asked for contributions. You find that there are no enough desks. I want your first job to go and suspend the director. The history of Tanzania. We've read history from far-off lands. We want our children to be taught the history of Tanzania, and this is what will help build patriotism. So Tanzanians understand where they came from. Sometimes young Tanzanians don't understand our history and our late founding father of this nation, Mwalimu Nyerere's struggle for independence.
In commemorating the 59th independence of Tanzania mainland, President Dr. John Magufuli has reduced the sentence of 256 prisoners who were sentenced to death to hang to life imprisonment, while 3,360 others prisoners will also have their penalties reduced.
kwa mamlaka niliyopewa na wapunguzia kifungo chao cha kunyongwa. Sasa
by the power bestowed on me, I'm reducing their death sentence by hanging. Now they will be imprisoned for life, because some had been sentenced to death by hanging because they killed someone. The law tells me to kill 256. Who is more sinful, the one who killed 1 or 2 people, or me who will kill 256?
Huyu aliyeua mmoja, wawili, au mimi nitakayeua 256?
Tanzania Forest Service in Sengerema District, Mwanza region, has commemorated the 59th Independence Tanzania mainland by planting 500 trees at Nyampulakano Secondary School out of 70,000 trees they plan to plant at various institutions this year.
Maisha yetu yanategemea sana miti.
Our life depends so much on trees, and when it is depleted and it becomes a desert, life will not be the same. And there is a law prohibiting the cutting down of trees unless you have a special permit. The TFS plan for the district is to give not less than 70,000 seedlings per year to the government. So far we've given out 11,500. I commend the government for choosing today to be the day to plant trees in our school. This exercise has a lot of benefits.
President of Zanzibar and the chairman of the Liberational Council, Dr. Hussein Mwinyi, has conducted an inspection tour of a garbage collection project which is being funded by millions of shillings, whereby he expressed dissatisfaction on spending and implementation of the project.
I thought that the loan we had taken from the World Bank of US $55 million was enough to eradicate the problem of garbage. It is sad that this is not the case. To date, rubbish collection centers are not working, and municipal councils have no rubbish depots. Rubbish is disposed of everywhere. Rubbish is not collected. The whole town is filthy. If we don't rectify this, our people's health will be in jeopardy.
The police force in Morogoro region has seized a fuel lorry traveling from Mara region to Dar es Salaam after finding 81 bags of marijuana hidden in an empty fuel tank. Morogoro police commanders said they have started a search for the driver after he escaped.
A lorry transporting fuel coming from Mara going to Dar es Salaam was found with 81 sacks of cannabis. Due to inspection going on, the driver abandoned the vehicle on the road and escaped.
With the planting season underway in various parts of the country, Songea district in Ruvuma region is facing a shortage of maize seeds, a situation that is likely to affect production of maize this year. Songea District Commissioner Pololetim Gema has conducted a tour of seed shops in the district to assess the situation.
What we've been able to establish is that seeds are in plenty. However, there has been complaints about timber seeds, which is a favorite to many farmers.
Kupanda kwa gharama ya mbegu, wasubiri utaratibu uliowekwa, waletewe mbegu mpaka hapa ili mbegu hiyo iweze kuuzwa kwa bei ambayo wakulima wataimudu.
Air Tanzania Company Limited ATCL is expected to start passenger flight to Geita Airport in Chato District as construction work has been completed. The CEO of ATCL, Ladislaus Matindi, has said that flights to Geita will facilitate travel for tourists visiting national parks along the lake zone, as well as investors and entrepreneurs on transportation of minerals.
Kwa hiyo kwa sisi tumeiangalia kama shughuli zake za kiuchumi.
We've considered tourism and the minerals sector and the need of people involved to have rapid transport.
Wanaajiriwa katika kiwanja. Na hapo ni wale wa direct.
Not less than 400 people will be employed, and this is for those on direct employment. Gator is now the gold giant, and time for a businessman is everything and has no time to wait in traffic jam.
Residents from more than 400 wards at Gambajinga village in Misungu district, Mwanza region, have volunteered to build a secondary school by contributing 5,000 shillings from each ward in order to address the problem of students walking a long distance to Kanyerele Secondary School due to the lack of school at the village.
The job you have done is exemplary to be emulated across Tanzania. You've been able to build classrooms, and when we involved the district commissioner, he decided to bring iron sheets. So we are here to support ongoing efforts by this village. Wakazi wa Jenga Sekondari Saradi. We decided to build this secondary school to reduce the distance that students had to walk to get to school.
Kazi mlioifanya katika kijiji cha Gambajiga ni ya kutolea mfano mahala popote Tanzania yetu.
Wajenga Sekondari Juma S. They have built a secondary school, and let me tell you, you must do the roofing immediately so that this year students begin to learn from here.
Twendeni tukafanya kazi kule, lakini akasema hiyo haitoshi.
Women from the pastoralist community from 10 villages in Siha district, Kilimanjaro region, have urged the government to increase efforts in construction of the infant and maternity ward at the healthcare in Kandashi village, which provides health services to the residents from the villages.
Children are suffering and women are forced to give birth on the way to the hospital. I'm asking the government for assistance. The estimated completion is not less than 90 million. We're asking the government and other donors to help us complete this building.
Tusilale, tuamke, tusigombane, tushikamane, tufanye kazi kwa umoja.
We must support each other and work together. We must put more effort in construction.
Hayo ni maombi ambayo yameshapita bila kupingwa.
That is the end of the national news. International news comes next after the break. And in international news, a case has been filed at the East African Court by a legal activist requesting the court to intervene and direct the government under President Yoweri Museveni to compensate families and protesters who were killed during clashes with police who used tear gas and bullets to disperse a demonstration last month in Kampala.
You are not going to disturb Uganda. You are not going to disturb Uganda, whoever you are.
People must, if they riot, they must go for 3 years in prison. That should be the law. And again, even those 3 years must come after fair hearing. And again, compensate those people. Whoever was killed in that fracas to be compensated, not the Museveni way. But whoever was rioting should not be compensated, as if rioting attracts death.
The ruling CNN FDD party in Burundi has commended the United Nations Security Council for removing Burundi on the agenda of nations facing insecurities and violation of human rights. The development comes after the revival of relations between Burundi and the United Nations. President Uhuru Kenyatta of Kenya and visiting Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed on Wednesday inaugurated the Moyale one-stop border post. The leaders also inaugurated the 500 kilometers of Hawassa-Hagere Mariam Moyale Road, which is part of the Trans-African Highway and a key segment of Mombasa-Nairobi-Addis Ababa Transport Corridor.
Brothers and sisters, is to see a deepening of the integration between our two countries. And you, the people who live on this border, the people of Kenya here in Moyale, the people of Ethiopia here in Moyale, have a central role to play to strengthen that relationship, that partnership. As Governor has said, we want to see Moyale becoming the Dubai of this whole region. Watu wawe wanakuja hapa Moyale, vijana wa Kenya wapate kazi, vijana wa Ethiopia wapate kazi, na watu wanakuja kununua vyombo vyao hapa na kuzipeleke katika nchi zingine. Hiyo ndio mwanzo wa uhusiano mwema. That is the beginning of true partnership, true cooperation. And we must also work together, because we cannot establish an economic victory if we are consistently also going to be having security challenges.
And it is a great joy for me to witness that we are one people, one family, into two countries with artificial border. This artificial border, in my opinion, will be dismantled with the new infrastructure. This new infrastructure will bring the two families, which is living in two countries, to come together and to tap untapped potential and lots of opportunity on business, economy, and so many other social aspects, including tourism.
So the UK rolled out a COVID-19 vaccine this week, bringing hopes to the end of pandemic in the near future. And meanwhile, in Germany, vaccination plans have accelerated, but with no fixed date yet as the country struggles to tackle the second wave. Joining us now is Emmanuel from our media partner Deutsche Welle. So Emmanuel, why is it that the UK got the vaccine first?
Well, the UK is the first country in the Western world to roll out a vaccine, but Russia already began vaccinations with Sputnik 5 vaccine, their vaccine, and China also has a vaccine for its population. But this is the first time a vaccine that has gone through the late stage trials is being used. The British regulators approved the BioNTech Pfizer, which was developed here in Germany, shot on December the 2nd, and the UK received 800,000 doses of that vaccine, which allows to vaccinate 400,000 people. Now, there's a vaccination plan that sees people over 80, so the elderly being vaccinated first, in care homes first, in hospitals. They will be followed by nursing home workers and by vaccination staff.
And how is Germany planning to roll out its vaccination plan?
Well, the German Health Minister Jens Spahn said that 3 million doses of vaccines will be available in January. Now, why January? Well, it needs to be approved by EU regulators first. That should happen in the coming days, in the coming weeks. Chancellor Angela Merkel spoke about 70 million doses of the vaccine available during the first trimester of 2021. That's enough to vaccinate around 35 million people. In total, Germany, via bilateral agreements, via EU Commission, ordered 300 million doses of shots. They will be shared between BioNTech Pfizer shot and the Moderna vaccine, which had been developed in the US. This is enough to vaccinate its own population, but also to redistribute it to other countries. And here in Germany, we'll see two phases in the vaccination campaigns. There's 60 centers, vaccination centers that have been set up all over the country. First to be vaccinated will be the elderly, then hospital personnel, and once the vaccine production will have caught up and be more broadly available, then the general population will be able to be vaccinated.
The pandemic is far from being under control in Germany. What other measures are being taken to control it?
Well, you know, since early November, we had a so-called light lockdown here, and this has failed to deliver good results. The virus is spreading more broadly, there's too many hotspots, and the vulnerable population is most affected this time around. I'm thinking about the elderly in particular. The figures are way too high, and today, Germany recorded its highest number of COVID-19 related deaths, 590, and more than 20,000 new infections. And on average, the 7 days incidence rate is 3 times higher than what it should be, with 150 cases per 100,000 inhabitants. There's more and more calls, both among the population and within the government, for a tougher lockdown. The worst affected regions, such as Bavaria, such as Saxony, have already implemented, tightened their measures. There's more restrictions that should follow. Berlin, for example, there's talk to implement more restrictions, but only after Christmas in the German capital. Now, time and again, Chancellor Merkel has said that we needed a tougher lockdown. She said we can't only rely on hope to tackle this pandemic, but most measures are up to the regions to implement.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel, for the update. Until next time. That is the end of international news. Sports comes next after the break.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's going to be dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's going to be dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Opposition, Joaquinho, he did lose to Lent.